But do you have any advice, or do you want to ask us any advice or tips before you go in? I mean, I know that you have some time. Like I said, we will continue to talk. But right now, just since it's all so fresh, like anything that you want to ask us since we've been in your shoes.
I honestly want to know what you feel like the most helpful tip is going into this position, or after you finished, if you're looking back and you're like, oh, I really wish I did this, or I really wish I would have thought of that beforehand. So now that you've been through the experience that you have, what is the biggest tip or, yeah, that you would have for someone like me?
Ooh. One thing that I would say, and I feel like you're gonna do this, like, so I feel like I don't even really need to like explain it that much, is to stay open-minded in the sense of like, when you're dating, you have the luxury to like go on one date and be like, they're not for me, I'm not into them. Here, you still have to keep a certain amount of guys around each week, as you know. And when I say stay open, like you never know who's going to surprise you. So you could have one date or one group date with somebody or one conversation and be like, I don't know if they're for me. Like, it's not all there yet, but keep pushing through because some people will pleasantly surprise you and you will be so shocked. Like, I went through most of my entire season thinking it was going to be one person. I was like dead set. And then like towards the end, I started to open up and be more surprised by like the other men, where I was like, okay, I'm glad I didn't write this person off week 1 or week 2 and they got to week 5 or 6, whenever. So just keep that in mind. Like there's going to be times where you're going to be exhausted and you're going to be like, I'm over this person. Like I wasn't feeling it this night. They might have had an off night. You might have had an off night. So just be open to that. Like you never know when it's going to slap you in the face and you're going to be like, oh, I actually really like this person. One thing in hindsight, and I can say this now years later because I've done a lot of thinking about it and, really going back through like how I handled my season versus then and now. Ask the right questions in the right way. I went in thinking, I went in thinking, knowing I know what I'm here for. I know what I want. I know what I need in a partner, what I'm demanding out of these men. And I thought I did an okay job at the time of like navigating certain conversations and asking certain questions, whether it was on camera or off. Looking back now, I didn't. And so now I would just like be so direct and intentional in what you're wanting to find out about these men. Even if it's uncomfortable, even if it's going to be hard, even if it could lead to like the end of whatever relationship you're having with any of the men, just be very intentional about what and how you're asking things.
Good point.
That's me. I mean, I could go on and on, but like the main takeaways at this point, Tayshia probably has completely different ones.
No, that's not true. I kind of agree with you, but I feel like you know that now because you're more mature, like you've grown and you know what you want now. I feel like, Michelle, you have like a really good head on your shoulders, and I feel like I don't know. I feel like I'm not worried about you asking the questions that you're going to need answered, but I feel okay. So going in. I will say, like I already told you, have no expectations, and don't just cling to what you're used to. I feel like that's what you would be most pleasantly surprised at, is because like when you open yourself and you're just allowing the moment to just happen and not overthinking everything, it allows you to put your guard down. The guys actually see who you are. They automatically become more like calm and like able to open up to you, and it just take it for as normal as you can make it. It's very abnormal, but at this point you kind of have a little bit of experience under your belt, and just be confident in who you are. Like you own it, like you know what you have to offer, so just go make them work a little. just be you. Like it's fine. Like don't think about it. And like I said, test out all the waters. But as far as like looking back, to be honest with you, obviously I don't regret anything because I'm happily engaged, but I really truly think that I was myself. And even if I did mess up or I could have asked a little bit more questions, I think that I have a good enough intuition, and I think I have a good enough, sense of self that I was able to navigate those waters. And so I think that's also really a big part of it. Like again, being reassured that you know what you're doing and you're making the right decisions, because you can continuously think that you're not doing the right thing and then throw away another relationship that should have been, you know what I mean? Like second guessing yourself. You don't need to do all that.